Welcome to A Wayfinder's Guide to Life, a podcast for entrepreneurs and leaders who've checked all the boxes and still feel something deeper calling. This is a space for stories, soul, and walking the wild path home. I'm Mike Bursick, adventurer, entrepreneur, and founder of Wayfinders. Pack light, walk slow, we're heading into the unknown. I start today's episode, the second to last of season 1, with these words from T.S. Eliot, written nearly a century ago. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time. There comes a day. The suitcase is unpacked. The ceremony has ended. The journey is complete. And you realize you're home again, only now everything looks different. Your mornings feel softer. Your voice holds more truth. Your life, ordinary and imperfect, yet somehow more beautiful, feels a little more like yours. It begins to feel like something you want to share, not escape. This is the quiet threshold we cross when we begin to give from the places we've healed. This is the gift. If you've been walking this season with me, you'll know the terrain, the Wayfinder's journey. We left what was familiar. We faced resistance, descended, discovered, returned. We've done the slow, often invisible work of integration. And now, something new stirs. The gift is not just what you discovered, it's who you became along the way. And it wants to move through you. It wants to move through you not for validation or to be impressive, but because it can't stay hidden anymore. There's a well-known phrase that I often turn to when coaching others. It goes like this: your greatest gift lies next to your greatest wound. When I first heard it, via my friend and fellow facilitator Philip McKernan, it sounded poetic, but a little abstract. I wasn't quite sure what it meant, but then I began to notice something. The people I admired most were those who led from the heart, held space with quiet power, and changed lives with their presence and their work. They were also often those who had suffered deeply. Their past held profound pain. But they also metabolized that suffering into presence and service. It might be truer to say, your greatest wounds can give birth to your greatest gifts. But only if you do the work. Only if you embark on the journey. Some wounds live close to the surface. We know them well. They've been with us for so long that they almost feel like part of who we are. The traumas of our childhood become our lifelong companions, shaping how we see the world and how the world sees us. I grew up an only child, the awkward kid of immigrant parents, in a Toronto that hadn't yet learned how to be diverse. From grade school through high school, I carried a deep sense of being an outsider, always on the outside looking in. When I was 14, my dad was diagnosed with brain cancer. 2 years later, he passed away. That loss shattered what little stability I had. It deepened my sense of isolation and added a new layer of grief to an already tender teenage existence. Over the years, I've done the work to soften that alienation. I'm more at home in myself. I've been graced with incredible relationships, deep, nourishing connections that remind me I belong, I matter, I'm loved. And yet, those early experiences still echo through my life. That sting of alienation remains. Certain environments still awaken that old ache. The wound no longer defines me. It hasn't disappeared either, but I'm more resourced now. I know how to meet those feelings with compassion, how to hold them instead of being ruled by them. And here's the beautiful truth. Those same wounds have become a profound gift. They've shaped my life's work and how I move through the world. From Wayfinder's adventures, to the community dinners and gatherings I host in Toronto, to workshops I host abroad, my work orbits around creating spaces for belonging and community. It's about helping people feel seen, accepted, and connected. I know the ache of not belonging, and I also know how soul-restoring true community can be. That knowing is what fuels me. Sometimes our wounds are apparent. Other times they're buried, disowned, or simply overlooked. We may never have considered that our pain might hold the seeds of purpose. As a boy, Martin Luther King's early life was marked by systemic racism and personal injustice, from being forbidden to play with white friends to witnessing the daily indignities his father endured. Those experiences awakened a fierce love for justice and a lifelong commitment to nonviolence. His pain became a moral compass. Frida Kahlo, after surviving a near-fatal accident, endured years of physical agony. Her suffering found its voice through paint. Her canvases were unapologetically raw, emotionally searing, and deeply personal. And Maya Angelou, after childhood trauma and a long silence, emerged with a voice that moved people to tears. Her poetry became sanctuary, an offering of dignity, strength, and remembrance for generations of women. Their lives remind us that it's our wounds that most often prepare us to serve, to lead, to create. Your wounding need not be so dramatic, nor do your gifts need such a large stage. Pain doesn't need to be headline-worthy to matter. Often it's the quiet ache, the feeling of being overlooked or misunderstood or out of place, that shapes us just as deeply. The key is to meet our wounds with compassion, both the wounds and the people who inflicted them. Only then can they become powerful sources of wisdom and fire. Our wounds light the way forward. We often think our gift has to be loud, a business, a brand, a bestseller. But it can also look like this. You listen more deeply. You stop interrupting. You make space for others to show up as they are. You create structures, at work, at home, in your community, where people breathe easier. Sometimes the gift is simply how you carry yourself. And here's the most important part. The idea that frees you. Listen closely. Your gift doesn't have to be your job. It doesn't need to pay the bills. It doesn't need a name or a niche. It just needs to be expressed. Maybe it flows through your art. Maybe it shows up in how you parent. Maybe it lives in the questions you ask, in rooms that would rather stay comfortable. There's a particular freedom that comes when you let go of needing your gift to be your livelihood. It opens a wider channel. Because now, the gift doesn't have to perform. It just has to live. My friend Alan Smith has an obvious gift. He's a brilliant business strategist. He's written books, such as Business Model Generation, that have sold hundreds of thousands of copies. He leads a venture capital organization where strategic gifts find expression and create value every day. But he has a less celebrated gift, one that to this day has not brought him any financial compensation. nor is it likely to. Alan loves to tell jokes. He has an encyclopedic memory for them. Throw a random word at him and he'll respond, within seconds, with a joke that will, at the very least, raise a chuckle from your belly, or at the very most, have you doubled over in laughter. On Wayfinder's adventures, Alan's gift is to provide comedic relief when it's needed most. This is especially valuable when we're doing deep emotional work, which can often get heavy. His jokes are the release valve we need from time to time. They light up the group. We often hang in anticipation, waiting for the next one-liner or corny dad joke. Alan loves to make people laugh, and this gift has no less profound impact on the world than his brilliant strategic mind. I want to speak directly to those of you listening who are wondering if what you carry is worth offering. Maybe it feels too small, too quiet, too strange. But I promise you, the world doesn't need more noise. It needs presence. It needs depth. It needs people willing to live from their own soul, no matter how it looks from the outside. True gifts don't inflate the ego. They nourish the whole. So if you're listening to this and wondering, now what? If you've done the inner work, if you've crossed the threshold, if you've returned home and begun to integrate, the next invitation is simple. Give. Give from the place you've been. Give from the truth you carry. Give because the world needs people who remember what matters. The world needs people to serve, to heal, to remember who we are to each other. You are the flame now. You've walked through the dark and discovered your wild soul. So what is the ember in your hands? What truth, what tenderness, what wild joy wants to be offered? And what would it mean to let it live in the world? Before we close, I'd like to leave you with a few soulful prompts and a simple practice to help you recognize and share your gift. You'll find these listed in the show description. What have you lived through that softened you or shaped you? And what wisdom did it leave behind? Where in your life do you already offer your gift, even if no one notices? What would it look like to express your gift freely, without needing it to be validated? And here's a simple practice to anchor this episode. Set aside 30 minutes this week to offer your gift in a way no one expects. No announcement, no audience, no social media post. Just you showing up from the most whole part of yourself. You might write a letter you never send, or sit with someone without needing to fix. Make art and leave it in a public space. Whatever you choose, let the act be enough. This is about remembering that the gift matters simply because it's yours to give. Thank you for walking this path with me today. In our next episode, we'll wrap up Season 1. Until next time, walk gently, listen deeply, and may you offer what is yours to give, with courage and without condition. Thanks for walking a while with me today. If this conversation stirred something in you, I'd be honored if you take a moment to leave a review in your podcast platform. Reviews are how this podcast finds its way to others who might be standing at the same threshold, wondering if there's more waiting for them too. And they're a great way to make a deposit into your karmic bank account. If and when you're ready to go deeper, here are 3 ways. You can join one of my upcoming adventures with Wayfinders, where I gather entrepreneurs and leaders in midlife in some of the wildest and most beautiful places around the world to reconnect with self, with soul, and with each other. This coming October, I'm heading back to the wilds of Mongolia. In March of 2026, we'll explore the deserts of the Sinai Peninsula with the Bedouins. And in October of 2026, I'm going back to the magical Himalayan kingdom of Bhutan. You can learn more at way-finders.com. If you're a fan of the written word, you can also subscribe to my Substack newsletter for weekly stories, reflections, and invitations into the quiet, meaningful corners of life. Finally, if you'd like to connect live with other soulful entrepreneurs, join our next online Soul Talks, a monthly conversation space for people walking this road with heart. You'll find all of these linked in the show notes. Until next time, may you walk gently, listen deeply, and trust the wild places within.